hope we are getting prepared. We are ready. So without further ado, I'll be bringing her on stage and I'll be reading her profile before then, okay? So please, once I'm done, ensure you make welcome her because she's ready to dish out so much value for us. So our dear facilitator, Ramad Owolabi, is a young female leader in climate change advocacy. She holds a degree in materials and metallurgical engineering from the University of Ilorin. Ramat is currently the Director of Operations at Plugin Nigeria and Dio as Head of Climate Change and Women Empowerment at Brain Builders Youth Development Initiative, where she is leading impactful initiatives, coordinating large-scale environmental projects, and empowering thousands through climate education. She's also an alumnus of the Lagos Business School's nonprofit leadership and management course, and our project management and sustainability expertise has driven significant progress in advancing the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, particularly in climate action. Okay, to add to this, she was one of the few selected, youths, personnels in the just concluded World International Youth Day, organized by Nigeria Youth Network, SDGs, okay? So she is really ready to dish out so much value. And please, let's ensure we stay connected, avoid every form of distraction. I'm supposed to be expecting some clapping emojis as I've read her profile, or we did not hear me. Please, let's make welcome our dear facilitator, our very own operations director of Plugin Nigeria, and every other thing I read in that profile. Let's welcome Ramat Owolabi. Let's make welcome, to the stage. All right, the virtual stage is yours. Are you there, please? Okay. Host, please yes, okay, thank you. So please, you have the stage, ma. Thank you so much.
Okay, hello everyone, good evening. Kindly confirm that you can hear me, please. Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Thank you. Yeah, so good evening once again, everyone. And so let's just begin quickly. Using a single word, just one word, how has been the academy so far? Let's go. Okay, informative, insightful, enlightening, breathtaking, interesting, tasking, day 2, tasking. Oh, wow. Educative, tasking, and many more English, right? Okay, but I want you guys to be sincere now. Have you been enjoying the academy so far? Tell me about that. Just yes or no. Have you been enjoying the academy so far? Oh, I can see people screaming, yes. Oh, I'm glad. That's awesome. All right, so we'll just begin right away there. Since we've been enjoying it, then let's have another daily dose. I can assure you that you enjoy this as well. All right, so hi everyone once again. Good afternoon, good evening, and thank you so much, Gisam Gifts, for the many intro and the many addition as well. Thank you so much. Yeah, so my name is Ramat Jadisola Olabi, and we'll be taking this together with the topic as have actually dropped it halfway, with some persons dropping it in full. Thank you. So the topic is echoing nature, fostering harmony with the environment. So because of our time, it's just a table of contents, but as we proceed, we'll all get to understand it better. All right, so give me some sec, please. Okay, please confirm that you can still see my screen. Just Gift, if you can unmute to actually just tell me that. So I don't want to keep going back for now.
Yes, I can see it.
All right,
Please go
thank you
ahead.
so
Thank
much.
you.
Okay, so dear EcoBoost participants, just as the team says, EcoBoost, and I would just want us to begin that. EcoBoost, I believe we all know it's about storytelling, it's about using different means of communication, but this time around to actually spread words around the ecosystem, environmental sustainability in this case. So now let us to begin with, let us compare the gardener and the garden. We all know who a gardener is, and can someone just tell me in the chat room who a gardener is, just briefly, and what does a gardener, what does it does? So, okay. A gardener is one who cultivates a garden, someone that cares for flowers. Okay, okay. Keyword cares. Okay, check their grades. All right. Okay. Thank you so much for that. So, just as we are all saying, that takes care of the garden, it is the same way we want to compare man versus planet. And this time around, man is the supposed gardener, and the garden is the planet. The way a gardener takes care of the environment of the garden is the same way a man is expected to take care of his environment. You are supposed to take care of it, to nurture it, to be conscious about it, to know what is going on within your environment. That is actually a major role of man in the environment as well. And as we move on, we'll understand the need for harmony with the planet, and also the reason why we should say no to dominance. All right, so let's talk about the ego of man in the ecosystem. The ego of man. I mean, it's a common saying when we hear that, oh, this person is a man full of ego, this, that. So we know ego has to do with, sometimes it has to do with that pride of, oh, I am this, I am that. And if you can see this picture by the top right corner, you would actually see the man standing and trying to dominate over every other living thing in the ecosystem. And by man dominating, we would see that man's actions have actually caused so many issues, so many issues better than the advantages. Look at the picture here where we have deforestation. this deforestation is obviously done by man. This is also a serious menace, and it is also done by man. And this is one thing that would also tell us that man has caused nothing but the mindset of man has caused nothing but destructive towards the environmental, and they have always worked towards environmental degradation. And it is evidence from here because they already see themselves as there's already a sense of force. There's a false sense of dominion that they can dominate, they own everything, instead of trying to harmonize and living together and taking care and nurturing every other part of the living system that makes the living things that make the ecosystem. Because man cannot actually live alone. I'm sure most of us we've taken fishes, we've taken maybe beef, chicken, and all of those today. That means man also needs all of this for survival as well. Take a look at all these pictures as well. This is also industries, an industry not taking care of the environment. I mean, if you've worked in the industry, to actually reduce all of these exhausts, they have the chemical they can use to reduce this. But you see most places here in this our own part of the world, they're not really doing the needful, and they are endangering the lives of the people living in that community. Look at bush burning as well. Bush burning, we all know what it can cause when it comes to global warming and all of those. Oil spillage, release of some dirty water or used water with chemicals into water bodies, that is larger water bodies. Look at a fish struggling because of trash that has been poured into its own environment. Look at how it's struggling, and sometimes the fish actually swallows all of these microplastics, and when they swallow it, unfortunately, man also end up buying such fish, and we consume them together with the microplastic. So tell me, who is doing who? I'm waiting. Who is doing who? I want to see who has been following me so far. Oh, okay. Thank you. Now I'm certain that we are following, so I can also move on. So briefly, let's talk about the dangers of ego. And that's like ego of man and the illusion of dominance now. If you can see this picture clearly, it actually shows us how our behavior as human, how we are moving from prosperity towards destruction. What we are supposed to be enjoying, how it can eventually be what we'll be suffering for. And this is a reminder to us all that we need to actually find a way to remind us of our place in the environment. And that's where we are talking about the illusion of determinants here. Look at exploitation for ego and overexploitation, for instance. Man commits some atrocities and you'll be like, oh, technology will just fix this for me. Technology will just do that for me. Without you knowing that the little you are doing, you're actually causing this harm. Environmental footprint. This is another big one, and we'll have a slide for it at the end. Then health implications. Look at it this way. Sometimes there are some health challenges that are actually caused, that we are actually the cause of such health challenge. Who can give me an example now before I actually talk? What health issue do you think the environment can cause? Okay, let me check the chat. Okay. Respiratory problems, asthma, bronchitis, and I mean, even from our regular air pollution, yeah, blood poisoning, respiratory issues, lung cancer. So I should say no more. Wow, EcoBoost participants. I love the vibe already. So now let's talk about environmental footprint briefly. I know you get to understand environmental footprints before the end of this academy, but I'll just touch it briefly. It's actually a measure of the impact of human activities on the environment. That is, all of our activities, whatever we are doing, they actually have effects. They have impact on the environment, and this represents the amount of natural resources we consume and the amount of waste pollution that we generate as humans. Like I said, the academy is super packed, and you are just going to love it because apart from the theoretical aspect of this that you face, you also encounter the practical aspect. So I'm certain that you would relate better by then. So what can you do to actually, and this environmental footprint, it could be carbon footprint, it could be water footprint, and it could be ecological footprint. And these are the things we can actually do to reduce our environmental footprint. Can reduce your energy consumption. A way to do that is you are going out in the morning. You don't need to leave your bulbs on or your fans on, burning and wasting the energy, since there's no one using it at that moment. And of course, without sense of you're the one footing the meter bill now. No, that's not a sustainable lifestyle. If you can also, and another fact I tell people is, we understand that sustainability is quite expensive, but if you can, please consider it. So still talking about the energy consumption, we could have the use of solar energy, the use of wind energy, which is better than what we are actually using. So adopt sustainable transportation. This is quite funny, but I'll just try to explain it. So there's what we call carpooling, and you see, to practice sustainability, I said it can be expensive. Again, I would say that if you want to live the tush life, it can also be discomforting. That let me put it that way. Because for instance, if you have to calculate your carbon footprint now, you would see that if you have to drive your own car, the amount of exhaust you drop on the environment, and you cause air pollution and all of this, compared to you actually taking public transport, that you guys are plenty in it and you can distribute that way. You're actually reducing your carbon footprint. And then if you can also, let's say you're not going to a serious far distance, you can actually walk, or you can take a bicycle if you can ride a bicycle. So we have minimized waste, and this is under reduce, reuse, recycle. And again, the academy is packed. You are still going to encounter all of this. Conserve water. Most of us are used to turning on the tap, leaving the tap on while brushing. I mean, you're already brushing, but I think there's just this mentality that we are happy listening to that as you are brushing. They're enjoying wasting the water, and this is also not a sustainable lifestyle. So support sustainable practices. Of course, I don't know if we have pluggers in the room here. So those are members of Plug in Nigeria. Anyways, the volunteers are Plug in Nigeria. We call them pluggers. Yeah, so there's what we call plug-in episodes, which happen every Saturday. And yeah, plug-in episodes is a way that you can actually support sustainable practice, because it's a cleanup exercise. We also have the tree planting exercise as well. Okay, let me just, pluggers are here. Okay. Good to know. So this is a gentle letter to man. So now let's limit it to EcoBoost participants. Dear EcoBoost participants, remember that every action counts. Stay informed, advocate for the environment, and inspire others to commit to change for a greener planet. This message, and okay, let me just give us a clap, because we are actually taking a step towards it. It says you should stay informed. GREENSWITCH Academy is one of platforms you can use to stay informed. Advocate for the environment. Enjoy all of your GREENSWITCH academic tasks. I tell you, you still miss those days where you need to advocate. And beyond GREENSWITCH Academy, ensure to always advocate for the environment. When you see people you could actually teach one or two or enlighten them, please do so. And again, inspire others to commit to change. You can't be telling people that, oh, stop disposing your waste indiscriminately. How will you just trash your waste anyhow? And you are the one that after consuming biscuits, you just throw the wrapper anyhow. After consuming sweets or chewing gum, you just throw it anyhow. So what are you actually, what are you preaching? What are you inspiring people to do? So this is a letter to you, dear EcoBoost participants. So moving on, let me check the chat again if there's something. Oh, all right. The need for harmony, moving from ego to echo. We've talked about the ego of man. We've talked about the illusion of dominance. We've addressed the issues that come with all of this. So now we should have realized by now that we need to foster harmony. We need to actually move from ego to echo. And when man lets go of when you let go of your ego, dear EcoBoost participants, this is for you now. You need to know, you realize that you need to respect all forms of life. You are not just the living thing on earth. We are not just the living species on earth. There are so many other species. So we need to respect all other forms of life. We need to harmonize with nature, because imagine we use our indiscriminate waste disposal attitude to eradicate the fishes in the ocean. I mean, we are done feeding them with our microplastics and they are dead. What are we going to eat? We are at loss. So this is a call to us that we need to actually harmonize with the ecosystem. Sorry, excuse me. We need to actually harmonize with the ecosystem and be stewards of the environment. So here are a few eco-friendly actions you can take. We've been talking about don't do this, don't do that. So here are just a few things you can take. Conserve water. We talked about the brushing of teeth earlier. Energy consumption. We talked about switching off your bulb and fans, switching to renewable energy, your waste management, reduce, reuse, recycle. Let's talk about reduce. Reduce can come in this form. Stuff that you don't actually need. Why do you need to get them? I mean, what's the perfect example we can use now? I don't want to use fashion items because you guys will come at me. But let's be realistic. Even if you want to jump on every trend, oh, there's this particular jean that is out now, you want it. Yes, as you are getting that, can you actually lease out the one you have and take it away out of your wardrobe earlier? Or maybe if it's possible for you to swap, or there's this thrift business that people do as well. Reuse. Let's use the grocery shopping bag as an example here now. You notice that our mothers are even more sustainable than we are, in this sense that we now, when we want to go to the market, most of us are used to, they will just go, how much is Bako bag? How much is all those fancy bags? I can just afford them. I can just buy them and put all of those stuff there. Whereas you can actually buy a very big one that you can keep in the house, and anytime you are going to the market, you can take them along. That way, you are not even collecting nylons, which belong to that which is also a single-use plastic. They're not collecting it anyhow from people to say you want to say you because you can't hold something. You have a bag already. You are putting it inside. Recycle. Some of us that are into cleanup activities and all, you can tell that at times when you actually gather bottles, you sell them or don't just dash them out to some of the recycling companies. Yeah, so that's a way. So to reduce plastic waste, there is a reason why there's what we call BYOB when you want to have a sustainable event. Bring your own bottle. So instead of giving everyone plastic bottle. I mean, plastic is a serious menace at the moment. And instead of doing that, when you actually tell people to bring their own bottle, it's very easy for the organizers to just drop a water dispenser and you can get your water to drink. That way, you are reducing plastic waste. So planting and nurturing of trees, of course, we are all students of knowledge, and the benefits of trees cannot be overemphasized. It's not just about the fresh air you get out of it. Do you know that, okay, we all know we breathe in oxygen, we breathe out carbon dioxide, but this carbon dioxide we are actually breathing out. That is what these plants are taking in. And imagine you cut down trees everywhere, and a place is choked, like, I mean, a place is populated. How do you think people will feel? Don't you think they will have breathing difficulty because they do not have trees there? Hence, planting and nurturing of trees is highly important. Then for those of us that do engage in tree planting activities, I must actually say that tree planting activities does not end at that moment where you are just digging that plant in the soil. You need to actually nurture these trees. You need to take care of them. Remember the story of the gardener and the garden. That is the same thing we are comparing now, man versus planet. So yeah, these few eco-friendly actions are just a few of them, the practical steps you could take. And this is just to tell you that change begins with small steps. Reduce your footprint, as every of your action actually counts. This is going to be my last charge to you all. I want to urge you all, EcoBiz participants, to actually be the change. Be that change you want to see. Reflect on your own personal responsibility to the planet. What can you do to be better? How can you encourage environmental sustainability? How can you reduce your own environmental footprint? Do this personal analysis. Know what you can do and do it from your own end. Also, a community is also very important for collective action and driving change. Don't do it alone. The knowledge you know, don't know it alone. Spread it across. When you're done with this academy, it won't take you anything to actually write a story around this stuff you've learned. Share it with your networks on social media. That way, you are creating a community. You will see some persons that will actually reach out to you that they are interested in the academy, or can you actually enlighten them more on so topic? And that way, you are sharing that you are creating a community as well. And then you need to become advocates for the environment in your own community. I know eventually you'll be told that, oh, who would love to become a blogger or something. This is what you should do. This is what you should not do, and all of this. It's not just about joining Plugging Nigeria. Wherever you are, you can actually be an advocate for the environment, even in your local community. Ensure that you are still an advocate. For the earth does not belong to us. We belong to earth. Hence, it is time we started acting like it. Thank you so much, everyone. So I'll wait for our questions and answers now, while we also reflect on some of the things that have been said. Thank you.
Wow. Oh my goodness. That was really amazing. Thank you so much for this lecture and this insight. Dear participants, what should we say to our amazing facilitator? Please go and thank her. These are fresh insights, okay? So the charge for us, let's ensure that we abide by them. Play your part. There's a part for you to play, okay? So without much talk, we're gonna go into the Q&A section. So I'm sure we have questions or we have clarification. So please type it in the chat room, or if you want to voice out, let me know. We'll unmute you and you speak. Just a minute. So who have questions, you can raise your hand using the virtual emoji, or you can type your question in the chat room. Let's quickly do that in the next few minutes. We need to wrap up the section soon. Question time. Question time quickly. Okay, I've seen one hand raised. Any other person? Okay, so okay, so two people. So others, please, you can quickly type yours if you still have. I'm gonna call these people to speak on their question. So let me call on Adebi first. That was the first hand I saw raised. So you can unmute. Let me see. Okay, please unmute yourself and ask your question.
Okay, good evening, everybody. And thank you very much for your insightful words and everything. My question is, can biomimicry be classified as eco-friendly practice? I don't know, like biomimicry is the how will I explain myself? I'm sorry. It involves designing and creating solutions with like for with other with so sorry, I'm so sorry. Okay. It is the creation of solutions through the natural processes. So can it be classified as eco-friendly actions? It's like you copying the biodiversity into making solutions for problems. Can it be classified as biomimicry?
Can
That's my
you,
question.
okay, thank you. Can you type what you said? Can you type it
Oh,
in the
okay. I
chat?
will.
Okay. Okay, I've seen that. Okay. So how can we balance the need for trees in industries like paper production with the need to prevent deforestation? Okay, so I'll just say this concerning this. We cannot, okay, someone even said something. We cannot actually say that people won't need papers, but there's what we do to that. There's a campaign to also save the trees. If you do not need to print something, thank God it's a digital world now. So if you don't need to print that particular stuff, if you can access it from your device, you can actually do that. You can send emails. I mean, you don't need to maybe go to the post office to send some stuff. So you are reducing the amount of paper you need that way. That means you're also reducing the number of trees that will be cut down. And for every tree that you actually cut down, the law should be that the tree should actually be replaced. And like I said earlier, it shouldn't be that you are just digging that root in the soil. You must also nurture it and take care of it until it is as matured as that one that you actually saw that it was fit for you to cut down. Okay, in an environment where there is no access to loamy soil, how do you encourage planting of flowers and trees? So there is what we call hydroponics farming system. And hydroponics farming system is when you actually use water, well, it's a water-based planting system where you don't actually need this soil that you're actually saying, and you can use it to for your beautiful flowers and or to have that garden and to even make all these all seedlings stuff that you can even still consume. Okay, so I'm trying to check the biomimicry now to understand what you were trying to explain earlier. water and drink factories can stop producing. Okay. I just saw the question from right now, and the fact is, I don't think it's about sensitizing the factories. They actually know. And if you check the bottles very well, that's why they will tell you stuff like, I think dispose properly or something. They know what they are doing. So, and this is one thing we can do. So in that case of bring your own bottle, remember that you want to reduce this plastic menace now. So for your water, if you're not actually consuming water, if you're not buying a bottled water every day, you have your own water, you are taking it around. Yes, you may exhaust it and need to refill. That is understandable. But remember that all those ones that you've consumed in your own bottle as well, and from your own bottle, you've actually conserved. And if the understanding is deep and is widened, even in offices, there will be water dispenser for you to just refill conveniently. And for your drinks, of course, they are still doing those in the glass bottles. So you can always get the glass bottled drinks and pour in your own bottle and consume that. Just some, I think while I'm still checking this, I think I've been just taking those in the chats room. I don't know if you want to call on another person.
Okay, yeah. Thank you so much for the responses. That was really insightful. Adebi, is your question answered now? So I'm just going to call on Innocent to ask this question. And please, if you have any other question, you can put it in the chat room, but we'll soon be wrapping up this section. Okay, so let me know if your question has been answered, Adebi. Please just use the chat room to type that. So Innocent, please. You can...
Adebi that asked biomimicry or something. It has not been answered.
Yeah,
no, it has not been answered.
Okay, it has not been answered.
Yes, I was answering those in the chat.
Oh, okay. I thought you were answering our question. Okay. So are you going to answer that now?
No, I said she asked for biomimicry, and I'm hearing that term for the first time, but I'm seeing that it could be biomimetics. I think it's that one I've heard before faintly. So I'm trying to check if I can have an answer to her question.
Okay, so you can all right then.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, so please, Innocent, go ahead.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Greenies. Thank you very much, Ramat, for the presentation and GSAM gift. So my question basically is, what would be your advice? Because we, as a Nigerian, we live in an environment. If there's anything I've learned throughout this training, is the fact that we need to keep preaching the green word. So what would be your advice? Because for a Nigerian, in the sense that there's so much you can preach to a Nigerian, like stop this, there are more sustainable practices that you can, do instead of this. And then they will still be adamant. So what would be your advice for those set of people? Thank you very much, Ramat.
Okay. Well, what would be my advice to stubborn Nigerians? Is that the question now? Okay. So I would say that So I would say that advocacy can be tedious, and the same way when you want to ask questions from people, you are prepared to either hear yes or no. That's the same thing you expect from advocacy, and you can actually take different approaches to it. And I usually tell people that you don't just at times you don't just assume and you just preach to people. You need to actually sometimes understudy them. It's a different thing to want to correct someone that, oh, you should stop. You don't need to throw your can outside of a moving vehicle now. That one is a correction. And you can, from the person's response, you can engage further. But in a situation where you really want to educate people, you have that mapped out, then the first thing should be your research. You need to know the the sort of traditions, what those set of people believe in. So at times when you want to, let's say from my experience, even with the local communities now, when you study them, local community guys are people, they are people that they believe every word from their religious leaders, every word coming from the mouth of their religious leaders. So you know that if you are taking any advocacy to such community, you are the one that wants to do that preaching, but you should ensure that their religious leaders are on seat. Once they are on seat, the residents of that community, their mind is at peace that, oh, we are at the right place. Our leader is here. Anything they are telling us, we are going to get it. Is right. They can't lie to us. That kind of stuff. If it is a university community now, you can actually target the influential ones. You know, we always have the influential ones on our campuses where there are those that, oh, they talk, people believe them. Oh, any tweets they say, people carry it. You can target those ones to actually, so you just look for that bait that you can use to key a larger audience. And trust me, it's going to work. It does that magic. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, Innocent, I believe your question has been answered. Stubborn Nigerians will remain stubborn Nigeria unless their hearts get yes, unless their hearts get softened by, like she said, their religious leader, someone higher than them, someone they really respect. Okay, so I'll just take one more question and we'll wrap up this section, please. It seems like so many questions are in the chat.
Okay, so let me just, sorry, before you call on one person.
Okay.
Yeah, but I saw a comment. PET bottles can be further processed into polyester as clothing materials. Yes, they can even be used with other materials as building material, building blocks to make what do you call all this? Bricks, all these interlocks. Yes, PET bottles are used for them. So there's one interesting question between sachet water and bottled water, which is more sustainable? I would say the question is interesting and it is dicey, but I'll just give you the position of the two. So this is it for sachet water and bottled water. That's PET bottle now. Sachet water is actually is still under that single-use plastic compared to bottled water that you can reuse, like gather them, give it to those people selling liquid wash, selling all sort of other things that need that bottle. Even you yourself can decide to maybe pour something inside to keep. That's an advantage of that one. But both of them can actually be recycled. For instance, now the sachet water now, you can, there are companies that recycle them into making polythene bags or party packs or all of those nylons that they use to preserve cotton wool, all those white nylon party packs, polythene bags. Sachet water can be recycled into that as well. Then your PET too can be recycled into like I said earlier from the chat, into polyester as clothing materials. They can be recycled into interlock for building. So they all have, now it depends on you now as a person. You should look at your options. You have sachet water and you have bottled water. When you are done with that nylon, what do you want to do with it? When you are done with that bottle, what do you want to do with it? If you don't want to go with either of them, is there a way you can get another option? Like, okay, you have your bottle, where you are going, can you easily refill your bottle? Just look at your best option, weigh the pros and cons. But if you can, yes, avoid the two. That would be what I would say. Adebi, please, let's do this because I was told I must finish by 9 p.m. That question that you asked me, please send it to GSAM Gifts. Now I know the word. I know the word we are battling with, but I can't even recollect the question properly. Just send the question to GSAM Gifts and I'll work on it, and maybe by tomorrow I'll send the response back to Jisambi and she'll just give it to you, or maybe drop it on the group or something. Yeah, Jisam gifts.
Thank you so much, Samramat. Okay, so I believe that all questions have been responded to. Please just help us answer this last one. As a vice president of an organization that preaches sustainability and an eco-friendly environment in a university system, how will she effectively implement this alongside our colleagues? Any advice for her, please? I just have that in
Okay,
a
that
minute.
preaches sustainability and eco-friendly environments in the university. Okay. Just like I've been saying, sustainability is expensive. It can bring a lot of discomfort. So one thing you should first realize is that university, is there a system that actually encourages this environmental sustainability now? You are the vice president of an organization. The organization, let's say you want to take irresponsible disposal of waste culture. Is the organization providing maybe enough dustbins around for people to use? Do you have a place where, okay, as you're preaching it, you want to be collecting recyclables, say PET bottles? Do you have a place where people can actually throw the bottles, that is, you are separating the waste that way? Also, you want to preach this, how are you also doing in that environmental sustainability line? Are you also defaulting, or you're actually doing the needful? Check yourself. Then understand these people. In fact, you can just ask some questions that would spike them. Maybe you just ask them, what do you think about this? Then you can sample their opinion. You can then identify what the problem is. Then you can now think of, okay, what kind of solution do you need to prefer to this kind of persons? Because at times you'll be thinking A and B for them, whereas their problem is actually Y and Z. So it's different. It can be, there can be peculiar solutions, peculiar problems, and to what you are thinking. And these peculiar problems, you need to actually address them in line with their own line of thought. So if they are now wrong, you can easily correct them. And you can, to maybe ease your own work, you feel like you can't be the one that will continue telling them this or that all the time. You can easily enlighten, give them a link to read or watch something on YouTube, so they can actually, apart from you saying it, they can also hear it from someone else. Then you need to localize all of these things. You need to relate it. Okay, you are not really in the Niger Delta region now, and you want to keep talking about oil spillage, when you're in the Southwest. They cannot easily relate because it's not what they are seeing. It's not what is rampant in their community, in their own immediate environment. So try to localize some of these things as well. Yeah, so I saw a comment concerning, yes, stubbornness is human nature, and we are mostly Nigerians here, and we are relating it to us here. Thank you all for listening.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Ramat. Yeah, please, that'll be all for all the questions. If you have further questions that have not been answered, you can freely send it to my DM, and I'm going to forward it to her, or I'll answer you, okay? And she will give you a very solid response. Once again, let's appreciate her for these great insights. And you can reach out to her, see her email there, you can write to her and ask your question, okay? So we can continue the section, because we have one more section to go, open debate. I trust we are ready for that, and to be on WhatsApp. Thank you so much, Ramat. Thank you so much, Ramat, our dear operations director for Plugin Nigeria. Amazing, amazing. I really enjoyed the section. Okay, so thank you, everyone. Thank you, dear hosts. Thank you, Gigi Sam. Thank you, dear participants. We're looking forward to the very last section. Okay, time is really way We're way behind schedule. Let's see how to quickly wrap that up. So we're going to be ending the section now. So please just go to the chat room and type just one thing you've learned from the section, why I meet us there, okay? All right, so we can exit the call now. Remember, send in your question that has not been answered to my DM if you still need clarity, and we'll rightly respond to you. Okay, so please let's move to WhatsApp quickly. Type in one thing you've learned from this lecture while we wrap up today's section. All right, it's bye from me from here now. Please, let's not go to bed though. Let's go to WhatsApp, okay? All right, bye everyone. Let's go to WhatsApp. Thank you, Ramat. Yeah.